Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into one of history's most fascinating and dramatic sagas. The story of Henry VIII and his 6 wives. It's a tale of love, betrayal, politics, and a desperate quest for a male heir that changed the course of English history forever. So, grab your popcorn because this is better than any soap opera. Let's start at the beginning with wife number 1, Catherine of Aragon, Spanish princess, devout and politically savvy. Catherine was initially married to Henry's older brother, Arthur. When Arthur died, a special permission from the Pope was needed for her to marry the young Henry. For over 20 years, they were married, and by many accounts, it was a genuine love match. She gave him a daughter, the future Queen Mary I, but failed to produce the son Henry so desperately craved. This obsession with a male heir, combined with his growing infatuation with a certain lady-in-waiting, led Henry to seek an annulment. When the Pope refused, Henry did something unprecedented. He broke away from the Catholic Church, declared himself the head of the Church of England, and divorced Catherine. She was cast aside, stripped of her title as queen, and forced to live out her days in lonely isolation, always maintaining that she was Henry's only true wife and queen. This brings us to wife number 2, the one you've all heard of, Anne Boleyn. Charismatic, intelligent, and ambitious, Anne captivated Henry like no one else. She refused to be his mistress, holding out for the crown. Her influence was immense, pushing Henry towards Protestantism and the break with Rome. For her, he defied the Pope and changed a nation's religion. In 1533, she finally became queen and soon gave birth to another daughter, Elizabeth, the future Queen Elizabeth I. The pressure was immense. When she also failed to deliver a son, Henry's passion quickly turned to impatience and then to cruelty. Suddenly, charges of adultery, incest, and treason were brought against her. Most historians agree these charges were completely fabricated. In May 1536, after just 3 years as queen, Anne Boleyn was executed at the Tower of London. Her downfall was as swift and dramatic as her rise. Just 11 days after Anne's execution, Henry married wife number 3, Jane Seymour. Often described as Anne's opposite, meek, gentle, and quiet, Jane was the one who finally gave Henry what he had always wanted. In October 1537, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the future King Edward VI. Henry was overjoyed. He had his heir. But this triumph was short-lived. Tragically, Jane contracted a fever following the birth and died just 12 days later. Henry was genuinely heartbroken. He considered Jane his only true wife and commanded that he be buried next to her, which he eventually was. For the rest of his life, Jane Seymour was held up as the ideal queen. After a period of mourning, the search was on for wife number 4. This time, it was a political match, arranged to form an alliance with German Protestants. Enter Anne of Cleves. The problem was, the marriage was arranged based on a very flattering portrait. When Henry met her in person, he was, to put it mildly, not impressed. He found her plain and uncultured. The marriage was a disaster from the start and was annulled after only 6 months on the grounds that it was never consummated. Luckily for Anne of Cleves, she handled the situation with remarkable intelligence. She agreed to the annulment, accepted the title King's beloved sister, and was given a generous settlement of properties. She actually outlived Henry and all his other wives, living a comfortable and independent life in England. A pretty good outcome, all things considered. Next up, wife number 5, Catherine Howard. She was a cousin of Anne Boleyn, and like Anne, was a lady-in-waiting at court. She was young, vivacious, and by all accounts, not particularly bright. The aging Henry, now overweight and in poor health, was completely infatuated with his rose without a thorn. He spoiled her with gifts and affection. However, Catherine had a past, and she wasn't careful about her present either. She began an affair with a courtier, Thomas Culpeper. When her premarital history and her current affair were exposed, Henry's adoration turned to furious rage. He felt utterly betrayed and humiliated. Like her cousin Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard was accused of treason and executed at the Tower of London. She was barely 20 years old. Finally, we arrive at wife number 6, Catherine Parr, a mature and twice-widowed woman. Catherine was more of a companion and nurse to the increasingly ill Henry than a romantic partner. She was intelligent, kind, and a devout Protestant who had a strong influence on the religious education of Henry's children, Edward, Mary, and Elizabeth. She was a unifying force in the royal family, helping to reconcile Henry with his 2 daughters. But her position wasn't always safe. Her reformist religious views made her enemies at court, who tried to turn the king against her. At one point, an arrest warrant was even drawn up, but Catherine skillfully managed to talk her way back into the king's good graces, convincing him she was only debating religion with him to distract him from his pain. She succeeded and managed to do what 5 others could not: survive him. Catherine Parr outlived Henry VIII, who died in 1547. And there you have it: divorced, beheaded, died, divorced, beheaded, survived. The 6 wives of Henry VIII were not just footnotes in a king's story. They were queens, mothers, politicians, and reformers. Each one played a crucial role in shaping one of the most turbulent periods in English history. Their stories are a powerful reminder of the precarious nature of power and the personal cost of royal ambition. Thank you so much for watching. Which queen's story do you find the most compelling? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next historical deep dive. See you next time.